Greetings, Alafia. My name is Gloria Ogunbadejo, and I'm a Nigerian from the Yoruba culture. I support African women in the diaspora to make cultural reconnections, spiritual reconnections, emotional, psychological, and intergenerational healing, strengthening their identity, bringing harmony, balance, and peace to their lives. And I do this through ancestral healing, which is reclaiming traditions that have been lost, looking back to our elders and ancestors to gain wisdom, direction, protection in order to move forward with clarity. Now, I'm here today to talk to you about a recent experience that I had. I recently went home to my hometown, my wonderful, beloved country of Nigeria. And I got to see and do such amazing things. And I just wanted to share some of that with you to inspire you. In particular, I wanted to talk about what I learned meeting my elders in my homeland. Meeting and spending time with my elders back at home held a significant importance to me, as it would for most Africans in the diaspora. The interaction significantly enhanced my life. And I think having come back now, I feel as if I have gained so much more of who I am. Part of the things that I experienced, I'm taking from that trip back home, was the preservation of culture and heritage, the importance of this. Traditional elders often hold deep knowledge about customs, traditions, languages, and histories of the communities. It gave me such a deep sense of belonging and boosted my already healthy identity. I was acknowledged, validated. It, I felt relevant. I felt appreciated and seen. So important because when we're in the diaspora, for the most part, we're ignored. We're not seen, or we're not seen for who we are. So we invariably take on personalities, we wear masks, we lose a sense of who we are. We take on other people's identities. And there's that wonderful saying that if you don't know who you are, somebody else will print who you are, who they want you to be onto yourself. So you lose yourself. And, the experience that I had going home, being embraced, it left me feeling this real connection to something bigger than I was. And I think the one thing I kept saying to myself constantly was, I belong somewhere. I belong to some people. I know who I am. So there's nothing anybody anywhere else can say to me, that nobody can call me out of my name, as the Americans say, because I know who I am. So say what you want. I may feel there may be a sting, but what I have taken, what I've internalized from my people will come up and give me what I need to walk away from it. It gave me a sense of deep healing of a lot of the pain and all the daily trauma we live through in the diaspora. And when I say trauma, it may or may not be directly affected. You may not be directly affected, but we are still affected vicariously, hearing about other people's experiences, witnessing what we see, how other people go through um, pain and anguish, and it feels like it's relentless. We hear one day, 1 minute after the other, if it's not in the UK, it's in America, and we hear of how Black people are traumatized constantly. And we are part of this wider community. So, we're constantly activated or triggered by these relentless levels of trauma. So there's something about when I went back home and I was in the arms of my elders, the arms of my people, healing just immediately by default took place because I felt wanted. I had a renewed spiritual, emotional connection with the community. It was I mean, I don't think I have the words to really describe the essence of what I experienced, but I'm going to try to do it as best as I can. You know, homecoming and ancestral healing hold an immense significance for people, particularly from the diaspora. I can't overemphasize this enough. There's a reconnection to your roots, reconnecting with people, places, wonderful, colorful cultures that are part of your heritage. This is medicine in itself. It's the tonic that we need living in the diaspora. It helps with gaining a deeper understanding of your identity and culture. You know, for many people of African descent, especially those whose ancestors were subjected to slavery, forced migration, or colonialism, homecoming can be a profound act of healing and closure. People have the opportunity to confront historical traumas that have impacted their families and communities and to reclaim their sense of dignity and self-worth. All of these things were happening like a movie in my eyes, listening to what the elders were saying, watching the culture alive, watching people going and coming, interacting. It was the visual of it, the colors, the smells, everything was so contrastly different from where I was coming from in the UK that it it it, it just it's awoken what was already within my DNA, that I'm with my people. This is where I belong. This is who I am. You know, homecoming and ancestral healing ceremonies often involve practices aimed at honoring and remembering ancestors. I'll talk a bit more about that a little later. You know, the act of remembrance acknowledges the sacrifices and struggles of those who have come before and preserves legacies for future generations. Reclaiming aspects of your culture and heritage that may have been lost or suppressed, again, due to colonization, slavery, and assimilation. I was watching all of this literally take place before me. And by reconnecting with traditional practices, which I did, the language, some of it I may not have understood as well as I could have because some of it was deep, but I didn't have to understand the words exactly, but I knew the meaning that was being conveyed. It revitalized me, you know, revitalized my cultural identity, strengthened my sense of belonging. And this is something I intend to pass on to my children. And I hope they pass it on to their children. So it's preserving our future generations, which is so important. Our children living in the diaspora are in desperate need of them feeling some of these things that I've just mentioned. And they can only feel it through us. If we have the opportunities to take them to our countries, that's perfect. But we can do the job ourselves.